If every single person that interacts with a potential customer is not mirroring what you would do if you were there yourself, you're losing.
Dude, on today's show, I'm bringing you Jason Nemitz. Man, this guy is an all-around rock star, and he's going to walk us through how his company is changing the way roofers do business. Hey, everybody, I'm really stoked today. I'm bringing on my buddy Jason Nemitz. Him and I have been friends for a number of years. This dude is an ultimate badass. He's kind of that dude's dude, and his company and what he's doing is completely revolutionizing what's going on in the roofing industry. I'm going to let him tell you his story so I don't try and read all his bio shit. So Jason, welcome to the show. Tell us your story, who you are, and how you got here.
Man, first of all, thanks for having me. It means a lot to me. I consider you a friend and done a lot of coaching. You've coached me up. It's been a good journey. So being on this podcast is a big deal for me. So let's jump into it. So I was a mortgage banker. It was a really good run. 2008, things were pretty much over in mortgage. Anybody that lived through it remembers it. And I was forced to kind of reinvent myself, and I just accidentally landed in roofing. I was 38 years old. I had 3 little kids. I had sold my house to an investor and leased it back so I didn't have to move my children. I was about to get foreclosed on. I'd lost everything. And I was waiting tables at Papados at 38. That's when you know you've made it in life, when you've had it on top of the world and now you're waiting tables at Papados. Yeah, dude. And let me tell you something. It's a gut punch when you go to serve a table and it's your attorney. And he goes, right. What the hell? And he leaves a $500 tip, and you're like, shit, right? Right. And that's where I was. And guy called me up, offered me a job selling roofing, and I was like, ugh, sounds terrible. My wife is the one that called me out. She said, hey, dude, really, you want to put the bow tie on and go sell some more fish? Go talk to these guys. So that's how I got into roofing. I worked for a guy for 6 or 8 months, and I'm pretty entrepreneurial, and I've always kind of run in that circle. And I had another couple guys that kind of hit the skids. They were in construction. They were finishing up a big project, and there was really nothing on the horizon for them. And they were encouraged by their CPA to diversify. And he said, man, you should look into roofing. And the only guy they knew in the business that was on the retail side was me. And they called me from, we had a prior relationship from my days in lending and wanted to pick my brain about it. And 2 hours later, we started DNG Roof Systems. So that's how we got started. We're in our 10th year. And I'll be honest, the first year or two, it was just me and my partner struggling, trying to make it happen. So we were doing pretty much whatever needed to be done every day just to make a living. And after a couple of years, we kind of looked up and we had some market presence. We had a good clientele base. We had a good reputation, which was important to us. And we felt like maybe we're onto something here. And that's when the hard work started. And, I say the hard work started because, the easiest thing to do is find that kind of thing that works and it's comfortable and you're making a living and you can lull yourself into this really easy place of, man, I do the same thing every day. I don't have to think about it. I'm automatic. I've got plenty of free time. I'm making good money. But if that's all there is, right? So we really wanted to try to build a company. And there were a lot of things going on in the roofing industry at that time that was on our radar. And one of the things was there was a lot of buzz starting to happen about the deductible, the insurance deductible on a homeowner's policy. And for 35 years, that discussion has always pretty much gone the same by the roofers. Like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. Just give us the insurance money and we'll get on down the road. And we started to hear a buzz about, hey, this is illegal, it's fraudulent, just kind of a buzz. And we were like, man, I don't know. So we started looking into it. And it boiled down to, yeah, man, these deductibles are getting bigger and bigger. The insurance companies are not doing $250 deductibles like they did in the old days. They're not doing one check payments, meaning, if my grandfather filed a claim 35, 40 years ago and he had a $200 deductible and a $4,000 loss, they'd write him a check for $3,800. There wasn't anything to talk about.
Right.
Well, skip ahead. You look at today, deductibles are 2% of the value of the home. You're a 2-check payment, so you don't get all your money. And basically invoicing has to go to the insurance company so that they know what kind of money to release. And we saw these things happening, and I was like, man, this is a problem, and it's going to continue to get worse. And I told my partner, I said, we got to stop doing this. We got to do it right now. And he said, well, dude, you're going to put us out of business. How are we going to be the most expensive guys on the block and compete? I said, don't worry about that. That's my job. I'm sales.
Yeah. So I want people to hear that is you're probably one of the better sales guys I know. I mean, you could sell ice to an Eskimo. So you're just that guy that it's no excuses, no bullshit, right? It's no, our price is going to be higher than everybody else. It's just flat out no excuses. And so you look at your business partner and say, dude, I'm the sales guy. We're going to do legit. We're going to go this direction.
That's right.
Kind of looking at him and saying, hold my beer and watch this, right?
Right. So here's what it forced us to do. It forced us to start selling. Period. We had to sell. So try this on for size. I not only had to stop waiving deductibles going forward, I had to go to the customers I already had signed contracts with and say, we can't do this.
Oh, wow.
We cannot honor the contract we wrote with you because it was illegally written and they're not enforceable. And we're certainly not going to do anything illegal. So we have to go back to the drawing board with an existing customer base who has already signed contracts. It was so hard.
Yeah, I mean, the gumption you have to legitimatize your business and go back and talk to these customers, dude, that had to be a nerve-wracking experience going to have those conversations. You know?
Yeah, dude, it was terrible. It was terrifying. But here's the reality. I took 3 days and I holed up like in a cave, and I came out with a business plan and a sales approach, and I gathered our entire team and I said, we stop waiving deductibles today and here's how we do it, and we train now. And within 90 days, I went to my partner and said, I'm going to try something in the sales meeting. I want to see how it goes. 90 days later, I went into the sales meeting and said, guys, we were wrong. We're going to go back to waiving deductibles. And they said, no way.
Really?
They were going to say it. And here's why. When we truly put a sales presentation together that was educational, that showed why we were doing the things we were doing, showed the value in what we're able to provide to our customers now that we don't have $2,000-$3,000 of our money tied behind our back because we threw it out the window like it didn't matter, everything got better. Customer service got better. Our profits got better. The quality of the product we were putting on the roof got better. The way we were seen in the industry got better. Our referrals went up. My salesmen were making more money. We had a better bottom line. All of a sudden, we were legit immediately. And it was the number one way for us to differentiate ourselves in an incredibly crowded space. Dude, there is no more competitive market for roofing in the world than Dallas-Fort Worth.
Let one, storm blow through, and even as crowded as it is, it doubles in competition. Right?
Yeah, right. So not only did it force us to truly provide value, to truly educate, to truly start to understand the things that our customers were concerned about. Here's something interesting, Donnie. We started hearing from our own customers. It never seemed right to me in the first place. I didn't understand it, but everybody was doing it. It just didn't seem like a big deal. When you start to see market response to doing the right thing, it is so encouraging. And man, let's just get something out in the open right now. I'm not some goody two-shoes. I'm not looking to be somebody's moral compass. I'm not that guy. But I also am a smart business person. And so try this on for size. If you're trying to build a long-term sustainable business plan that's predicated on committing fraud every time you do insurance work, which is 99% of your business, you're crazy.
You're right. But you got so many roofing companies out there that all they know is when they talk to a customer is they've got to immediately walk up and say, hey, we'll cover your deductible. We're going to wrap it into all your stuff. They know it's not legal, right? They know they shouldn't be doing it. And now here you are going completely against the grain of the entire industry and saying, we're not going to do that. And I know because you've told me in the past, dude, you lose deals.
Oh, I've stepped over millions of dollars, really and truly. There's no doubt. And sometimes it keeps me up at night. Like, what's wrong with me? But ultimately, it's never failed us. And so, let's use that as a transition away from digging in on the deductible, because that's just the very tip of the iceberg for all of the other amazing things that we've been able to accomplish in the 7 years since we took that hardline stance and what it's done to my business. And there's more to the story, and it's fresh. It's like, okay, stories are like dog shit. When they're real fresh, they're kind of stinky.
Right.
A week or two from now, there'll be a little outer crust, but if you poke it with a stick, it's still stinky. You go far enough back, and it's just dust. You can pick it up and just dump it in your hand. So I like the fresh, stinky pile.
Dude, I love it. All right, that's one of the funnest analogies I've heard in a while. Continue on.
All right, so let's go to a fresh, stinky pile. So since we haven't been mirroring the North Texas roofing business model from the beginning, we just basically said, okay, we're going to do it different. And it might not be pretty, but we're going to figure it out. What it's led us to is really legitimizing the approach we take toward our business. We have a real live office. We have real live employees. We have insurance. We have a matching 401k. We've got guys in company trucks with gas cards, base salaries. I mean, it's a legitimate business. We have a marketing budget. We have a business development budget. We have a training budget. We do things right. The reason we've been able to do that is we're not dying on the vine. We're not working with the worst customers. We're not fighting for the worst business. When you got 3 roofers fighting over the same guy, and they're all agreed to waive the deductible, where do you think he's going? He's going for the free upgrade. He's going for the TV. He's going for the $1,000 in my pocket. There's no floor. So the guys that I'm missing over this discussion, my competitors are fighting for him. And I'm moving on to the next guy. And the next guy is a potential 67%. He's going to listen to me. I lose 1 out of 3 over the deductible. So it's given us a different platform to build our business from. We have really good customers. We do great value. We have very low warranty claims. So one of the last things we wanted to put into place coming out of last year, we had a 1099 based sales force. For people who don't know what that means they were not employees of my company. They were on a contract basis. We would give them a lead. They would run that lead. If they converted it and sold it and saw it through to the end and we got paid, they would get a percentage of that. That is the last thing that we had in place that looked like what a normal North Texas roofing company looks like.
Right.
We wanted to turn a corner on that. So we went to our entire sales force and said, this is what we're doing. We're moving to W-2 base salary. We want you guys in our trucks, not your trucks. We're going to give you gas. We're going to train you. You're going to have uniforms. We're going to give you a matching 401k. And it might not be a fit. We went to every one of them individually. This might not be a fit. If it's not, you've got time to figure out what you're going to do next year. And we've got time to hire your replacement. And every single one of our people told us that they were in. We love it.
That's huge.
Great.
That's
awesome.
Huge. So you have not only legitimized your business model, now you're legitimizing everything inside your company by taking care of your employees. You know, because you talk to a lot of roofers, you talk to a lot of small businesses that do the 1099 model. You know, the biggest complaint is I can't keep my employees. I can't retain the good ones.
You're training your next competitor, and if you don't think you are, you're lying to yourself.
Absolutely.
Because once he knows your crew, and once he knows the process, and once he knows where you're buying your materials, it's a zero cost of entry business. If you've got a customer that's got a check from an insurance company and they're willing to give you that so you can go buy materials, you can be a roofer in Texas. There's more. That was the beginning of the shit pile story.
All right.
The shit part. I get a call from my partner in February. I'm rocking and rolling, dude. I'm out there turning over rocks. I'm hitting it hard. I've got this whole new energized attitude. Our company's clicking. And I get a call from my partner. He says, dude, we got a problem. I said, yeah, what's the problem? We're about to lose our entire sales team. What? We're about to lose our entire sales team. They're moaning. They're griping. They're bitching. They hate the new pay plan. There's no money in the new pay plan, which, by the way, January and February are like our 2 worst months of the year. So these guys are getting paychecks every Friday, but somehow they can't make a living on the pay plan. And it was a fucking gut punch, brother. Let me tell you, it sucked. It was like somebody gutted me. And my partner said, dude, we got to double down on these guys. We got to rein them back in. We got to do this. I said, dude, I need 30 minutes. I'll call you back. And I had a 29-minute pity party. Right? Because I was like, damn it. I was hurt. I wasn't mad. I wasn't scared. I was hurt. I was just like, dude, after all we did, we gave everybody every opportunity. We rolled it out individually So there was no more higher level of respect or thoughtfulness we could have put into this. And every one of them were bitching and moaning and griping. So I called Glenn back in 30 minutes. I said, dude, I know the answer and you're not going to like it. And he goes, lay it on me. So we got to let them all go. Every one of them. He was like, what? I said, yep. He said, you're going to put us out of business. I was like, yeah, well, the last time you said that, we didn't go out of business. So we're going to be fine.
It's like, dude, you're betting on me. I got this. But at the end of the day, you know that if shit hits a fan, you'll go back out and start sales again. I mean, I know you, right?
That's exactly what I did.
All right.
It's exactly what I did. Not only did we turn over our entire sales team, we turned over our office manager position. Talking about the quarterback.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it was brutal. And I want to make this point because it's important. Every single person we've ever had in this company were great people. If they lasted at all, they were great. What I had to come to terms with was that my 1099 guys were great as 1099 guys, but they were never wired to be employees.
Mm.
They were never wired for our new system, KPI, accountability.
Well, you say your system, I say your culture, right? They
okay, yes.
Yeah.
And, thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. The culture.
Yeah.
And as hard as it is to let good people go because you've evolved as a company and they're not evolving with you, it has to be done. If you're listening to this and you are trying to figure out what to do to improve your culture, you cannot do anything to improve your current culture if your current people aren't the right people for the culture. It will not happen. So as brutal as it is, as hard as it was, by the first of, I guess, February, March, me, our general manager, and one senior salesperson who will be with us until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, sat down and said, we're going to do this, and it's going to be hard. And by the way, Donnie, we're not out knocking doors. I mean, we have a lead generating machine, and those leads are coming, and those customers need to be served, whether we have a sales team to serve them or not. So It was a lot of double duty, spinning a lot of plates. But here's the cool part. When we went back out into the marketplace and started recruiting, for the first time ever as a company, we were able to recruit with a real live job. I'm not looking for a dude who can come in, no pay, figure it out, learn it fast, hustle, and maybe in 60 or 90 days start making some money. And if he's good at it, after that, he's good. There's a real narrow field of the overall employment pool that can do that. Everybody else needs a real live job. I've got to have money every week. I can't just roll the dice. I've got little kids. I've got a mortgage. I want to learn. I'm willing to do what I need to do. I can't put 40,000 miles a year on my 10-year-old pickup truck. I need something to drive. If the job requires me to drive 40,000 miles a year, you better have a car for me. I need a 401k. I need insurance. When I went into the employment pool, the real live big employment pool, and started seeing the quality of people that we could attract, it blew my mind. Every single person in our company today, which by the way, as of today, every single position in the company's been filled except for one. And we didn't fill that one. It's our Dallas position, and it's because I decided there's nobody better to grow that market than me, and that's a new market for us. So I've been working that market, but every other job position's been filled. And I've told every single person we've hired, if you look around this conference table, every single person that you see is equal to or better than you. There's not a single person at this table that is not your equal, if not better than you. And if there's a weak link at this table, it's probably me. So when you have a culture where the people in your organization look around and know that every single person there is on par with them or better, it is very encouraging. You are not worrying about this knucklehead over here that you need to stay away from because he's poison. That knucklehead does not exist here.
Well, and you also are not handicapped by that one rock star sales guy that's holding your company hostage because that dude's, closing every deal he's in front of, this, that, and the other, but he's an asshat that nobody likes. You've now created a total culture that everybody can buy into, and it's the epitome of the rising tide raises all ships.
Absolutely. And I've got guys that, I can look them in the eye and say, no doubt, this is a 6-figure job. You're basically paying 6 figures. But if you're not making 6 figures here, then you're not performing at the level that we expect from our sales team, because they're not burdened with going out and finding their own business. They're not out from 4 to 9 o'clock at night interrupting people during their dinner trying to soft shoe hustle a guy. They're real, live, no kidding consultants, project managers. It's not even really sales. I mean, I don't sell a roof. I sniff out problems and I make professional recommendations, and here's what it's going to cost. And if you like what we have to say, you hire us. If you don't, you gamble with the other guy and you call me a year later to fix that.
Right.
It's just the way it is. And for my guys to have that confidence that when they're out in the market, that they're representing the best that we know to put out there in the marketplace. In roofing, it changes their perspective completely, and they're killing it. One of my newest sales guys sold 3 roof jobs this week. He's been with us for a month. If you don't want to buy something, stay away from Tony. Because this guy is on a roll. But when you see that buy-in and you see that transition and you see the aha moment in somebody that is representing your company on your behalf every single day, you talk about stress as a business owner. If every single person that interacts with a potential customer is not mirroring what you would do if you were there yourself, you're losing. And to see that develop in such a short period of time with people that are they're so high quality, to see the changes in their lives at home, to be in a career path where there's actual advancement and growth and they're not just stuck in a function. Here's something interesting, Donnie. I asked every one of our new hires in the interview process. Number one, they were all employed. Every single person we interviewed was already employed.
What I tell people all the time, the best salespeople for your company are not on the street.
Right.
Unless they're coming out of college. That's the one caveat that I will be. If you're willing to take a greenhorn and grow them up, but the best salespeople are not on the street. If you want to get the best of the best, you're going to take them from somebody else. So go ahead and go with that.
So they were all employed. And when I started looking at the companies they're employed with, I'm like, well, dude, this is a 40-year-old company. They do $100 million a year in sales. I mean, I know who these guys are. Why in the world would you leave that job? You've got a good pay. You've got a good salary. You've got benefits. Why are you here? Every single person. Now, they all had different responses, but there was one commonality. The only commonality I found was, and it was the number one answer, there was no growth potential. The guy next to me had been there for 30 years. He'd been skipped over 3 times. His boss, my boss, our boss, had been there 15 years. And I didn't want either one of their jobs. But without a clear career path, really, truly superstar top producing people, I don't care what title you give them, I don't care how much money you pay them, that will become their normal. And if that's all there is, they will go and seek a better career path. And then the lesson I took from that is I now have a new attitude toward how we're going to grow our company. I've always thought about growing our company is define another market. This is where we're going. Put down the stakes, staff it up, train it up, and replicate it. Try this on for size. What if I took that same approach with each individual in my company? I'm going to develop this person to the point that there's nowhere else for them to go here. Great. Pick a city within 20 minutes of our office, and we'll start you an office there.
You know, and I love that. It's brilliant because, like Richard Branson, he has one of the greatest sayings when it comes to this. Richard Branson says, you know, you got 2 choices. You can train your employees and they go, or you can not train them and they stay. Yeah. Right?
What's the danger of not training them and they just stick around forever?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're done. So this whole experiment, I mean, I had to pull some key people in. So I'll give you an example. My director of business development, her name is Kimmy, and she is badass, and I love her. She's tireless, and she's the best I've ever seen. She'd only been with us about a month, maybe 6 weeks, and all of a sudden we fire everybody. There's no salespeople. The office manager is transitioning out. From her perspective, it must have looked like Glenn and I were absolutely tanking our company. It probably scared the shit out of her.
Right.
And I grabbed her one day and I pulled her in my office and said, hey, Kimmy, what do you think about what's been going on around here? And she said, Jason, I'm losing it. I'm freaking out. Did you bring me in here to fire me? I said, no. I brought you in here to tell you that I know this looks bad. I know that I have not shared with you our game plan, but here's what's going on. And I want you to know that we will not fail. You are not in jeopardy. From your perspective, this must look really bad. Here's the other thing we did, Donnie. I did not try to bullshit the community that I serve on what was going on. I was open. Hey, these guys no longer work here anymore. The only two people running your leads are me and Mike. So if I slip, let me know. If I'm overworked, I'll tell you. If I can't get to it till tomorrow, it's not because I don't love you. It's because I'm recruiting and replacing, but I'm spinning all the plates. And I'll tell you the coolest thing ever. I did that for a reason. Because what happens when you fire somebody?
Bad mouth on the street.
Oh, dude, they're on Facebook.
Yep.
And it's simple. Oh, these rotten shit wads. And, dude, I mean, I knew it was coming. And so I thought, I'm tough enough to take it on the chin. So I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to beat everybody to the punch. I'm just going to because, we're a referral-based business, dude. Insurance agents, producers, bankers, other general contractors, bug killers, foundation people. That's where our business comes from. Other people who know that what we do is awesome and put their customers in front of us. And when I took that message out, it was embraced. I was getting attaboy emails from people indiscriminately, just 9:00 at night. Hey, bro, what you're doing is amazing. I'm pulling for you. Let me know how we can help. It was so cool, dude.
But what here's so cool about that is I tell people all the time that you have got to be authentically you, right? Be yourself. The world's going to adjust to you. And I love it because you just did that with your company, right? You just said, guys, here's our company. This is what we're doing. You're being authentic in the marketplace and showing them that your company is human. And when you do that kind of shit, the world shows up and says, awesome. This is who we want to work with. This is who we want to partner with. This is the exact thing we wish everybody we dealt with would absolutely do. Because the more authentic you are, man, life just gets easier. Because now you don't have to remember the lies. You don't have to remember the disguises. You don't have to remember you're just you. And when you can do that with a company, God, your clients become family, which is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's awesome, brother.
It is cool. And business author John Maxwell talks about the upper air.
Right.
And the people up there just killing it. And you're like, how did they get there? And, man, there's so much room. I said this to somebody the other day and they freaked out. I said, man, there's no more room in mediocrity. It's full. How are you going to shine in your amazing mediocrity? And it's all lip service until you live it. And it's humbling when people that are in the upper air are reaching down to help you get there.
Absolutely.
Like, I want you here with me, and what you just did put you on my radar. That's the kind of stuff we've experienced. I want to leave you with one more thought about the culture. It's been kicking my ass for 2 years. I've been really focused on culture, and I think it's kind of a buzzword. Like, we just think, okay, we need to, and we hear about it. And
absolutely.
I'm hard-headed. I'm not dumb, but I'm slow. So I know what my culture is, but why isn't it replicated? Why is it not embraced in my company? What's the problem? And in this transition period, that was the biggest fear I had. It wasn't finding more people. It wasn't training them. It was how do I instill the culture once and for all? And I don't really know how this came about, Donnie, but it hit me one day. I've been talking about the wrong shit. I've been talking about all the reasons we do the things we do, the benefits, the value, the feature benefit, blah, blah, blah. I do it with my customers. I do it with my business development approach. I do it with my own people. The reason why we do the things we do is we're trying to create an exemplary customer experience that they're not going to get from another roofing company. And when I had that thought, I went to my computer and I changed my signature line on my email to say obsessed with the customer experience. And I put it on my own email. And I had the first email I sent after I did that was to my business partner, and he called me. And Glenn. Glenn and I talked twice whether we need to or not. Right?
Exactly.
We're not up each other's butts. He calls me, he says, dude, where did you get that obsessed with the customer experience thing? I said, it's why we do what we do, and I just want it to be out there. He said, that's our culture. Talk about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. And when you can project that out there, the whole company can buy into that philosophy and deliver that level of excellence.
Here's a practical example. Let's say you're monitoring a new salesperson. You get into their CRM and you see that they haven't followed up with Mrs. Jones in a week. So we can go in and we can go down the rabbit hole as deep as you want on the value of follow-up. And we could train on it, and we could even put in some, hey, if this happens again, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Or you could say, hey, Tony, I know when you talked to Mrs. Jones, you gave her an amazing customer experience because you're that dude, you're badass. But she hadn't heard from you in a week. What do you think she's experiencing right now? And that is a completely different discussion than, now you're supposed to follow up in 3 days, and you know that blah, 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 and why haven't you? And then they can say, well, I've been busy, man, and there's just a lot. Now you're arguing over stupid shit instead of, who cares what you and I are dealing with? Mrs. Jones is deserving of better than that.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you one more, man. You're absolutely right, but it's also a key point that you can remind them of with a simple question. Say your phrase again is customer.
Obsessed with the customer experience.
Is how is your reactions reflecting our obsession with the customer experience? Right. It's a cool training moment. So, all right, brother, you and I can go on for hours, and we're getting stacked up against the time. Talk a little bit about quickly your kind of journey from going from getting your teeth kicked in from being a rock star sales guys to life lessons all along the way to building a badass company. What have been those key things that you think have helped you on that journey to turn you into the badass that you are?
It's kind of a weird answer, but I'm glad you asked that question because it's a cool answer. About 3 or 4 years ago, probably about 3 years ago, something started happening to me that had never happened before. People started seeking my counsel.
Right.
And it wasn't just industry. It was acquaintances, business associates, customers. And it was freaking me out a little bit because, why does anybody care what I think? I'm a hot mess, dude. I mean, I'm barely recovered from the last business I tanked. Why do you care what I think? But it struck me because it kept happening over and over again. And it instilled an immediate responsibility. I have a responsibility that when people ask me for my advice or my opinion, that it's coming from the right place. And I knew I wasn't truly equipped to answer those questions properly. It wasn't studied enough. I didn't have enough dudes like you that I would sharpen against. And it began a journey to really seek the skill set, the information, the right mental capacity, understanding how to shut the fuck up and listen a little bit so that you're not just droning on. And it was the beginning of a journey to make sure that I was truly worthy of those people's trust when they approach me. And it's made me a better person. It's made me a better man, and it's significantly impacted how I treat my business. And it is 1,000% focused on human interaction. Everything else is arbitrary. So I'm focused on individuals. That's where I focus. And the more I focus on that, the better things get.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So if you could give somebody like this one piece of advice that they should carry with them on the rest of their journey, because we all know life's a journey, what would be that thing you'd say, if you did this, if you focused on this, this would be a game changer for you to carry on with? What would it be?
Think about the scariest, hardest scenario in your path. Like, just dream as big as you can dream until the point where you're like, there's no way I could do that. It's too scary. Do that.
Beautiful.
Whatever that scary thing is, do that. Because on the other side of it is the next scary thing, but you just slayed the last one. And you'll learn to look for the next scary thing, and you just keep slaying the next scary thing, and you'll look up one day, there'll be another one, but you'll look behind and go, holy shit, I had no idea I could do all that. So do that.
That's awesome, brother. Hey, I will put all your contact information in the show notes so everybody can see this. Dude, I so appreciate your time, man. We're going to grab a cocktail soon because it's been a minute. But, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate everything you do, brother. You're a rock star, man.
Likewise, brother. Love you.
Love you, too.
Wow, that was just an awesome episode. What a freaking journey. Man, when you hear stuff like that, you just get goosebumps on the ride. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this episode. Please do me a favor, comment on it. Let this person know how much you value their story, their information. Please share this with your friends. It would mean everything to me.